Loneliness. When I think of loneliness, I imagine the rain. So I would say like a grayish blue. The last time I felt lonely was earlier this year, um, when I just moved on campus to the dorms.
The last time was recently when I came to here from India to Florida, like missing my family.
I rarely ever feel loneliness or like abject loneliness, even when I'm by myself.
My name is Dr. Maria Gheorev. I'm a licensed psychologist. I specialize in trauma and PTSD and their impact on our mind and body. So while common definition of loneliness describe it as a state of solitude or being alone, loneliness is actually a state of mind.
Your essence, your energy, your spirit feels isolated from the rest of the living world around you. You know, you feel isolated from people, friends, family, nature, society. You feel completely like cut off.
It may be necessary for us to have time alone, to reflect, to kind of like allow our nervous system to calm down. While loneliness as a state of mind, it can be, we can feel alone, lonely, even when we are surrounded by people. We can feel disconnected, we can feel isolated. So it's completely different than being alone.
Being alone is like having independence. So like having that free will to do all the things you want to do. Being lonely is more like a desire for a company, and it's more sad.
I like to spend alone because no one cares about us, so we need to care about ourselves.
I didn't want to bother people, and I felt like it was something that I had to deal with, and I don't know, like no one can really do anything for me. It's something I have to figure it out.
Many people may feel like ashamed or may feel isolated and may feel like I'll be misunderstood. If I share, I feel alone, like maybe my partner or my parent will be like, stop complaining, just focus on. So the feelings of misunderstanding, the feelings of like disconnection and lack of support might be a major cause for that. So there are 4 common misconceptions about loneliness. One is that you only feel lonely when you are on your own. So the truth actually is like feeling lonely isn't the same as being alone. Another myth is that only young people rarely feel lonely. That's not true. It's usually loneliness affects people from all ages, socioeconomic status, races, etc. And another third myth is like it's very obvious when somebody's feeling lonely. The fact is like sometimes it's really hard to spot that. The 4th myth is like talking about loneliness, it's embarrassing and people won't understand. The truth is loneliness is something that lots of people feel and it should never be anything to be ashamed of. So if you feel lonely, it's recommended to really talk to somebody about it. Some of the emotional and psychological effects of prolonged loneliness are like inflammation within the body that can lead to chronic pain. In addition to that, it can lead to anxiety and depressive episodes. It can lead also to low self-worth, problems with sleep, high blood pressure, and increased stress levels. So certain life events can really trigger loneliness, especially if we are going through grief or bereavement. If we recently break up with a significant other, retirement, changing jobs, experiencing mental health problems, becoming a parent as well. Another thing is moving to a new area, new country, or like new community, changing friends. Most likely many people feel extremely lonely during certain holidays like Ramadan, Christmas, Valentine's Day.
Usually during times that I see couples, especially during like February, like couples just being together, kind of being all lovey-dovey.
I really didn't think I had a coping strategy. It was just make it to the next day.
So there are multiple coping strategies that people can use. The first thing is to really kind of like checking with ourselves and admitting I feel lonely. Research shows even like naming the emotion that we actually feel, it's the first step towards healing. So sitting with that emotion, understanding it, and maybe reaching out to a therapist, to a friend that is compassionate, or like family member, somebody with whom you can feel safe. Another thing is always you can join a community. Volunteering and like giving back to the community shows like a sense of purpose and a sense of togetherness, where many people describe it as like, this is my group of people and I feel connected to my meaning.
Attending school, especially in college or university, there's a lot of events going on that you can attend, and through this you can meet people and not feel as lonely as before.
Another thing is maybe joining a group or a passion of yours, some kind of hobby where you can meet people with similar interests. Then practicing self-care, like healthy diet, exercising, things that can help you feel taken care of by yourself.
There's like no time to feel that kind of loneliness, you know, especially knowing that I'm a creation, that I'm not of my own making.
And last thing is maybe going deeper, if it's like chronic loneliness, just understanding if there are parts of you, maybe inner child, or like parts of you that felt really isolated, neglected throughout the years. And like working with a therapist or like with yourself to kind of like get back and like create this image of a compassionate person within yourself that can show up for the part of you that felt neglected and lonely.
I immersed myself in art, like videos, watching funny videos, playing video games, so that helped me cope a lot with my loneliness.
Like autopiloting with life sometimes, where it's like, okay, today I like played video games, sleep, then go to school, play a little bit of video games. Oh, something nice happened like that day, but then like it's the next day and then like it goes again and again.
I have zero social media, no Facebook, no Twitter, nothing. Never have, never will. Not even when they have MySpace.
Being online is kind of like the form of dopamine that I think everybody has defaulted to now.
There are two paths that we can think about social media. One is like many people solely rely on social media to feel more connected, which is kind of leading to this compulsive behavior of not missing out, of kind of like constantly being there and trying to create meaningful relationships through social media.
It has a sense of like falseness where you can't tell like, oh, are they being angry at me or are they being like happy with me? It feels like a Key and Peele segment where they're like, oh, you want to go, bro? Oh, do you want to go? Like, oh, he's being considerate. Like, it's that feeling like you don't know what the true emotion is. So that conversation doesn't really feel like real, I guess.
On another hand, if you use social media as a tool just to kind of like supplement your already established relationships with the community, with friends, with families, it can actually have a positive effect.
That, you know, an exchange of energy between two people and a smile between two people and eye contact between two people, all right? How do you buy that? You can't buy that.
It's like it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money, it cannot buy you through friendships and relationships. However, it can allow you to have more free time. It can allow you to spend more time doing the hobbies that you like and meeting people that have similar interests.
More money means actually it's not more happiness, because it will be like we have more money, what we want to do, what to do, we'll be thinking that how to spend. So if we like give it to our parents, they will be having a plan like what to do. So with their guidance we can be happy.
Yeah, it depends on the value system. Happiness, it's one thing. If you value money, it can bring you happiness. If you value true relationships or whatever are your values, it's kind of like this is different than the feeling of loneliness. Definitely, it's a privilege to have more money.
The color of happiness is like fireworks. It's a multitude of colors. It's all colors, like all the colors of the rainbow.
Happiness reminds me of the sun. It's so bright and it like engulfs everything.
I'll say one last thing. It's okay to visit loneliness because we're only human, right? It's okay when bad shit happens to visit or feel, all right, naturally occurring despair. But what we cannot do is we're not going to live there forever. We can visit for a short time because we must. Because when shit hurts, we say ouch.